guiding you on your path. And always remember to stay true and authentic to who you are. And when you do that, you will be able to reap the fruits of your labor. On August 31st, the date that I misquote and said that Let There Be Luz was a year old. I was listening to Super Soul Conversations with Oprah. On this particular episode, she was having a conversation with Mitch Albom, who is the writer of Tuesdays with Morrie. If you haven't read Tuesdays with Morrie, it's a really great, easy, simple read. You can read it in a couple of hours. She interviewed him, and he said something that was so profound to me at that time that I had to stop and record it. This is what he said. You feel like you are behind. There is always going to be someone doing better than you. There's always going to be someone doing worse. You are probably better off turning towards the one that is doing worse and saying, what can I do to help that person? Then you are constantly keeping your eye on the one that is doing better. That was the beginning. I'm sure there was more to it. Of course, there was so much more to it. There was the whole finding the moon cycle series, finding all of that information, being a student to that information for a very long time before I decided to talk about it. So of course, there were many other elements in play, but this is actually what I found archived in my little phone that started on August 31st. That was so powerful because during this time, I remember how lost I felt, like I wasn't doing anything. I needed a creative outlet. Sure, I was working, in the film and stuff, but I was so bored with that. It wasn't stimulating my mind. It wasn't giving me any expansion or growth. What Mitch Albom said was so deep, right? Because sometimes when you're in a desperate place or a sad place or a dark place of not exactly having a clear direction, not knowing what is going to be next, it's so easy to get caught up and focus on what other people are doing, watching their success, and then thinking that you're supposed to be doing the same thing because it's working for them. When really what we need to do is find what our path is and what is supposed to be working for us. Because authenticity is what garners love and respect from your community. And isn't that all that we want? We just want to be appreciated for what we can contribute to this world. And everyone has something amazing to contribute. This wasn't the only sign that I found. In the next couple of days, there was a dove that hit the roof of my house, crashed against my window, and fell to the ground. I heard the feathers, I heard the fall, I heard the whole thing, so I ran outside to see if I could help the bird in any way, and it was a beautiful white dove. Looked like it had been bitten, it had a puncture, it was bleeding. I put gloves on, I picked it up, put it in a basket, brought it inside, and I knew immediately that there was a sign for me here. And I found what I believed was speaking to me, a symbol, a sign, and I screenshotted that sign, found it in my phone, so this is from a year ago. White turtle doves are sacred to the fates, reflecting the link between the birds and lunar powers of prophecy and oracle. The dove symbolized the aspect of the moon which bestowed life and love. It represented the ability of the female nature to bring harmony in the reuniting of the spirit with consciousness, humanity, and nature, and the inner voice of wisdom and intuition. WTF. If the universe wasn't speaking to me at that time, I do not know what was. I do not know what was. I was picking up some inspiration. I was putting together my first sacred circle. I was trying to get myself out of this rut that I was feeling. But I had no clue at this time that within a couple of days, I was going to record Let There Be Luz. I surely didn't know that I was going to open it up in a story format that was highly produced with layers of music and noises that would give the listeners something that was a complete experience that I knew that would be unique to me. I had absolutely no clue that my life was about to change. I also went on to get a tattoo the day after, which is the oxytocin tattoo that symbolizes the sacrifice that I've made with breastfeeding my son, which I continue to do so. I got the tattoo in San Diego, so in the drive back home during the night is when I found the inspiration on recording the episode. I was moved by something that I felt and something that I heard in the car that I can't remember what it was. There's nothing on my phone. I just remember that we were listening to something and it moved me so deeply. And I knew in that moment that I would record a story and that I would take you through my head, really, the thoughts in my head, and a story that I lived when I was younger. And that was how I was going to open up the episode. So all of this just to tell you to always be aware of how magical life is, how the universe speaks to us in so many ways. And you know, sometimes I get so inspired by a quote, by a caption that someone writes on a picture in my timeline, by a butterfly, by a dove. Wherever I find inspiration, I really connect to it and I feel so much magic towards it. Sometimes I wonder if I'm crazy because of all the inspiration and the connectedness that I feel, like all of these signs, and I'm like, I must be really crazy for me to believe in all of these signs. But looking back and hearing that clip that I recorded on the day from Oprah's Conversations and just reading this meaning of the dove, we can't deny that there's so much guiding us and it's coming from so many directions, especially now that we have social media and we could be extremely connected and receive a message in seconds, a million messages in seconds, which is also why we need to be mindful of what type of content we are consuming. We're going to take a short break and I have some really exciting updates for you all.
To the one.
Before we get into updates, I do have a very important public service announcement. I saw that Sephora is releasing what they're calling witch kits, and they're partnering up with this company called Pinrose that apparently does perfumes. Pinrose isn't really known for witch kits or anything bruja-ish. Apparently for Sephora, they are creating these witch kits that include sage and crystals and all of this stuff. While Sephora might be the perfect place to find the items you need to contour your face, it is not the place where you purchase your items to create a very intimate and powerful ritual. You don't understand what their intentions are. If you are going to purchase anything for your limpias, please do your research and make sure that you are purchasing from someone that has an intention for your outcome. Support your local bruja. With that being said, I do want to remind you that one of my local brujas is Roxana Diaz, who is co-founder of Casa Papalot. Browse through her herbal, her medicine that she creates with a powerful intention. She comes from an ancestral lineage of women that have been practicing this type of medicine for many, many years. It comes with strong intention. It's not just the intention that Roxana puts in to what she is creating. It is the power of her ancestors, of women before her that are working through her in order to get this medicine out to the people. This is the type of medicine and energy clearing product that you need to be purchasing from someone like her. So I would like to encourage you that if you are interested, then please head over to her website, type in Let There Be Luz in all caps for a discount. Follow her on Instagram at Casa Papalot, that's CASAPAPALOTL. I have exciting announcements. The first one is that we are launching a program called Linternas. Linternas is lanterns in Spanish, and it also has the word intern in it, which is extremely special. We are going to our top cities and we're scouring those cities for a person that embodies and represents what Let There Be Luz is in their city. The ideal candidate is someone that is yearning to learn, that is a seeker of the light, and that wants to contribute to the podcast. We are going to announce more details on our website. You're going to be able to find what Linternas represents, what we're looking for, and what we will be doing in exchange for being part of this program. Anybody that is part of the Let There Be Luz team, it is really important for me to exchange energy and contribute to the growth of the person that is contributing to my growth. So I am excited for this announcement. Stay tuned because we're going into different cities and we will have all the details up on our website. If you have any questions, we will have a post that is going up on our Instagram. Feel free to drop any questions you may have on the program, but we will have a link to our website that will go into the details. This is going to be such an incredible program, and we are going to expand in ways that I certainly could have never imagined. The other announcement that I have is that Carissa and I have been working extremely hard ironing out the details for our full moon retreat that will be taking place in May from the 18th through the 21st. I cannot wait to share all of the details with you. I just want to give you a heads up and let you know that that is coming. Ticket sales will be released next week. We are going to have a payment plan. You can pay it up front or you can stretch it out into payments. We definitely want to be extremely mindful. I just want to let you know right now that there is absolutely a limited amount of women that we have slots for. So as we move closer, there will be details rolling out on the Instagram page. So make sure that you are following us on Instagram at Let There Be Luz, where we will be releasing details about when tickets will go live. We are first requiring a deposit to hold your space. You will have the option to pay full amount, and you will have the option to pay in payments. But before you can pay the full amount, we are asking for just simply the deposit to hold your space. We'll get into more details as that rolls out. I want to tell you guys that the intuition has already begun to flesh out all of the ideas and how this will all go down for those 3 days. And I just want to tell you that it is so powerful and it is going to be mind-blowing. It is not going to be anything like what we did for the red tent. It is going to be something that is next level. I would tell you all the details right now, but Carissa would kill me. So I cannot. I'm holding back. I'm trying to bite my tongue. I just want to tell you to get prepared. Ticket sales are going to go out next week as promised. We are going to experience such an incredible retreat that is really going to take us to the next level in getting closer to who we are and expressing ourselves. There's going to be so much creative energy flowing at this retreat. There's going to be so much power, so much self-love. Be sure to check the updates on the Instagram account as we're rolling out all of these details. We will set date of when the tickets will be released, as well as a time, just like we did for the Let There Be Luz red tent, so that no one misses out and everyone is fully aware of when tickets sales are going on sale. And you guys, this time I do not want to hear about FOMO or missing out or any of that. The last and final announcement is that we are going to launch a Guerrera de la Luz series. I want to share the inspiration behind the series and also tell you a little bit about what to expect, because I don't want to ruin the episode by giving the explanation in the episode itself. We've been wanting to collaborate with other healers in our community, not only to bring to light the other healers that exist, but also to gain insight and knowledge from different modalities and different perspectives. If you remember in last week's episode on the 10 ways to be a Guerrera de la Luz, if you haven't heard that episode, I strongly recommend that you go back and hear it. I found some channeled inspiration. As I heard myself saying this, I was kind of surprised by it when I addressed the richness of the water well that each of us contain, that we each have a well, and that we have the ability to go in there and get a pail of water and pull out of that pail a glass of water to share with other women, that it is important for us to tap into our own well because we all have them. I also talked about being really mindful. Instead of focusing on the woman that is rich in water, why don't you try focusing on the woman that needs the glass of water and give her a glass of water? I just got chills because I realized that the quote that I read today from Mitch Albom is actually this. It's what I'm saying. It's pretty insane. There's so many synchronicities in everything that we do. It is simply our job to find them. Finding synchronicities really helps you to believe. I remember as I was saying this in the last episode, I knew it wasn't coming from me. I knew I was just being utilized as a channel. 2 days later after my analogy, she also discovered this analogy in her podcast. And as she was doing it, she was tapping in to the intuition of the other woman. There's this theory called the 100 monkey theory. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but if you haven't, it was a study that took place many years ago. They were studying monkeys, and what they found was that the younger monkeys were washing their potatoes at the river before eating them. The monkeys were trying to teach the elders to do the same, and the elders were resisting. They didn't want to wash their potatoes. They liked eating them with dirt. They were fine with it. When the 100th monkey made this discovery, there was a conscious discovery that took place, and they found that monkeys all over the world began to wash their potatoes in water. It was like that. A conscious, intuitive discovery. When I heard Jess Lively talk about the well in her episode that came after mine, it immediately reminded me of the 100th monkey, on how this must be some kind of conscious knowledge that is releasing right now. I mean, I'm sure people have talked about it years before. I'm sure this analogy isn't new. It was definitely new for me, and it wasn't something that I was thinking about. It was something that was just speaking through me. That is what we are going to do with the Guerrera de la Luz series. We are going to be receiving a glass of water from healers in our community. We're going to receive a glass of water from their well that they will be sharing with us so that we can drink from it. And may it inspire us and give us some sort of maybe direction and knowledge on how to tap into our own proper well. We will be hearing direct healing energy in real time. And then after, what we're going to do is we're going to work on channeling their intuition. By that, I mean that we're not going to talk to the knowledge in their head. We're going to try and tap in to the knowledge that comes from their soul. We're going to be asking really deep and intense questions that could potentially steer or change the direction in our lives, in the same way that when Mitch Albom said that quote, it changed and steered the direction of my life. You have no idea how excited I am for all of this abundance in positive energy that I want to share with you all, and that you all, of course, are a part of. You inspire me. This is where the inspiration comes from. It's from you. I leave you with the first episode of Let There Be Luz, where I share my first moon cycle. I hope you enjoy. It was 1991. There was fear looming in the air as I watched the adults constantly wide-eyed in front of the television as it spewed words like Iraq, Kuwait, and Hussein. Not fully understanding or wanting to understand, I found myself gripping onto Summertime by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Unable to come to terms that summer is slipping away. Life is changing. The air is getting cooler. But it no longer prompts me for the excitement of school about to begin like it once did. This isn't like the closing of summers before. It's different. It's my last year in elementary. There's something else happening. I'm spending less time climbing trees, and I'm caring less and less about the mysteries of the moon. It's all slipping from my hands. There's a change. One I can't explain. It feels lonely. Something is happening. I'm 11 years old, and it's the first day of school. I zip up my pleated high-waisted acid-wash jeans, slip on my magenta top. I stop to analyze my nipples, as I find them a bit pronounced. Awkward little lumps. I look away, trying to ignore them, as if I was sending a signal to everyone else that comes in contact with me to look away. Please don't stare. I lace up my pink Converse and move on to my hair, a high-side ponytail slicked with Aquanet. Ugh, but that was so 5th grade. I let my hair down and I style my bangs. Something is happening. There's a change. School hasn't even started yet, and for the first time my butt was grabbed in line while waiting to get into the classroom. As I turned to look back at who it was, the boys were straight-faced, and the girls behind them glared at me. I felt a wave of shame. It must have been my fault. It's lunchtime. The smell of pizza fills the air. The rectangle-shaped pizza with white runny cheese and little square pepperonis melts in my mouth. I finish it as fast as I can, and I find my way to the playground. The playground full of freedom. Freedom of getting to choose where you want to play. I look in every direction. What do I want to do for the next 30 minutes? I make my way to the uneven bars. I pass the snarky girls that glared at me today. I don't care. Whatever. I lose myself after every spin on the bars. I get drunk. I push myself faster and faster and faster, feeling the wind in the hair and the tingle in my body. Pulled away from my delight, I hear the whistle on the playground, and I hear the teachers begin to give the instruction for us to freeze. We freeze, all in funny positions. Instead of looking around to get a good laugh, I lose myself in a feeling I've never felt before. My vagina is hot, and I can feel the power oozing out from inside, like a volcano expelling hot lava gently running down it. I hear the whistle again. It's time to move. No time to think. My vision comes back into focus, and I begin to walk alongside the other children like a herd of sheep. I make my way into the restroom. A game of Bloody Mary is well underway, and the girls are on their third spin. As they complete their third spin, They start screaming and push me out of the way as they run out of the restroom. I'm alone. The cool air of the restroom wraps around my body. I walk into a stall. I hurry up to unzip my jeans and pull down my pants. And I stretch my underwear out in front of me. There it is. I can feel the sense of panic begin to overcome the cool feeling that once wrapped my body just moments ago. I remember all of the times I watched my mom angrily wipe herself and add additional toilet paper over her pad for safe measure. Ay, ya llegó esta chingadera otra vez, she would say to herself. I can remember the look on her face as her brows furrowed and her jaw would hang from her frown. There I was, my rite of passage, wrapping toilet paper around my hand so that I could gently expel it from my grip and place it neatly on my underwear. The anger that I watched my mother inhabit during this time of the month became my anger. I felt a position of power. I felt like a grown woman, having the power to hate and be angry at something so deep and so intimate and so profound. The power immediately disappeared as I pull my underwear to the side and discover my pants are stained. The bell rings. I'm visited by panic once again. The panic wraps around my chest, down my arms, up my head, and down to my feet. I feel like I can't breathe. I'm late for class, no time to process. I move fast. I make my way towards the classroom. I walk with my legs rubbing together really hard as I tighten my thighs as best as I can, praying to God that nobody can see the blood that has penetrated my pants. Why are you late? My body is flushed with heat, and everyone is staring at me. I didn't hear the whistle on the playground. All the kids begin to laugh. I take my seat. I can't focus on anything else Mr. Reed is saying. I stare at the clock, watching the red hand jump from second to second to second to second. Finally, the bell rings. Lost in thought, I sit on the bus staring out the window. Therapeutically, I watch the cars drive by. I acknowledge the trees pushing past the window. There's a sense of freedom that is somehow consumed by an inner power that I was meeting for the first time, feeling for the first time. As I step off the bus, I feel a wave of relief. Waiting for my mother to come home from work, I run to her as soon as I see her and I tell her that I began to bleed today. She takes a couple of steps back, as if I'm a walking disease. She glares at me. I could feel her disappointment, and for the second time today, I feel ashamed after a glare and disapproval. Again, I blame myself. This must be my fault. She very slowly shakes her head, and her lips pierce. Her lips pierce a hole right through my heart. Allá hay toallas, abajo del sink. I turn around and make my way to the restroom. I already knew that. I already knew that the pads were under the sink. There's a change, one I can't explain. It feels lonely. If you're in gratitude for the content that has come out of Let There Be Luz, then for the Let There Be Luz 1-year birthday, I would like to ask you for a present. Let There Be Luz would love nothing more than for you to head over to iTunes, rate and review us. You have no idea how much this helps us gain more exposure and more notoriety. I appreciate all of the love you all have shown me this past year, and here's to many, many more. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to sign up for our weekly warrior email on our website, where you will get news on when our events are taking place. Please head over to our website, lettherebeluz.com, and sign up for our weekly warrior email. I love you all so much. May the light within grow stronger. Return to the one.
101.